Today I'm going to be sharing with you this long-awaited dal puri roti recipe. You guys have literally haunted me for this. Okay, I think it's long overdue that I show you guys how I make my dal puri slash roti. Okay, so as always, an ingredient breakdown. So in here I've got 1.5 cups of split peas, or you can use the Chana Dahl. Okay, over here I've got 4 cups of plain flour. Here I've got some ground cumin or jeera powder. I'm going to be using some of that. I've got some Garam Masala. Okay, I've got a tablespoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. I've got about 1/2 cup of oil. This is what we're going to use to fry our dal. I've got about 5 garlic cloves. I've got a small scotch bonnet pepper. I'm going to be using some of that, not all, because I don't want the seeds. I have a small Maggie cube, but that is optional. You can use all-purpose seasoning if you have. I've got about 3 cups of water, and I've also got some thyme. Okay, so these are the main ingredients in making my dal puri roti. Okay, so let us get started. So to start off, I'm gonna go ahead and take my split peas and pour it into a pan. I'm gonna give it about 2 to 3 rinses, and then I'm gonna allow it to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's soft, not falling apart and mushy, but soft. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. This is how my split peas is looking now that it's nicely washed. I've rinsed it about twice, and what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is to take about 3 to 4 cups of water. Okay, and I'm gonna allow that to boil. Okay, so now that I've added in my water, I'm gonna go ahead with about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then we're going to allow that to boil for about 20 to 25 minutes, but I will be checking it gradually and I will be showing you guys the progress. Okay. So while our peas is boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on my flour. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, this is 4 cups of plain flour. Okay, and then I'm just gonna mix it around in my hand just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with my salt. This is a teaspoon of salt. Okay, just mix that in together, and then I'm gonna go in with my baking powder. This is a tablespoon of baking powder. Okay, just make sure you mix this together. Okay, and then we're gonna start adding in our water gradually. In my jug I've got about 3 cups of water, but I may not be using all. Okay, so what you want to do is to make a little well in the center, and what we're going after is a bit of a sticky soft dough, not too sticky but a bit soft. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit of water, and I'm just going to be working that in until I have a nice dough formed. Okay, and bear in mind I'm using the squeezing method. I'm not kneading, I'm squeezing together. Okay, so just keep adding your liquid gradually and just keep squeezing it together. Okay, as you can see, the dough is forming nicely. Okay, and it's totally okay to push it onto the side while you just get everything nicely mixed. Okay, so just go ahead, and I haven't kneaded the dough yet. All I'm doing is squeezing it together and just using my knuckle. Okay, and if at any point the dough gets too sticky, feel free to just go back in with a little bit of flour. Okay, not an excessive amount, but just a little bit of flour. So as you can see, my dough is quite sticky. Alright, so I'm going to take a little flour. Okay, this much, and just mix it into the dough. And you don't want to put too much because you really don't want the dough to be too hard. Okay, so now that everything is nicely combined, okay, got a nice dough going on here. Just put everything together, and I'm just gonna put this here. Then I'm gonna go in with some oil, just a little bit to coat my fingers, nothing too much, and I'm just going to coat the dough with it. Okay, gonna go ahead with a clean tea towel, and I'm just gonna set it aside to rest for about 15-20 minutes while our peas cooks. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now. So just to give you a little update on our peas, it's been boiling for the past 10 minutes, but it's not quite ready, okay, because it's still very firm. I'm just gonna check one of them so I can show you guys. And as you can see, it's not crushing at all between my fingers, so it's not ready. Okay, so time to check on our peas one more time. My timer just went off, so that means it's 25 minutes. Okay, and as you can see this? It's nice and smooth, and this is how you know that your peas is ready. Okay, you don't want to let it overcook so then it gets mushy. See this? Alright, so time to drain this in a colander, and then we're gonna put it on some paper towels just to soak up the excess moisture. Okay, nicely drained. Alright, okay guys, so I've placed it on some paper towels, as you can see here, and I'm just gonna allow it to cool. As you can see, it's really hot. I'm gonna allow it to cool for about 10 minutes, and also any excess liquid is gonna soak onto my paper towel here. Okay, so now that my peas has been on there for the past 15 minutes, okay, 10-15 minutes, it's now dry. Well, not extremely dry, but not as wet and hot as when we first took it out of the pot. Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do now, I'm gonna be grinding that up in my food processor with my garlic cloves. Okay, and I'm gonna be taking half of this scotch bonnet pepper without the seeds. Okay, I did mention that I'm not gonna be using the seeds. Okay, so let me just go ahead and take this. See, there we go, and we're gonna be grinding that up. All right. Okay, so to help me today, I'm gonna be using my trusty food processor. Okay, so I'm gonna be taking about 2 handfuls roughly. All right, some garlic in there as well. Okay, and a piece of my pepper. All right, and then we're gonna be grinding this up into a powder. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. And there you have it, guys, just to show you. See this? Okay, this is how it's supposed to be. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is to grind up the rest. Still got some over here to do, and I'm gonna show you guys when it's all grinded up. So there we have it, guys. This is the filling for our dal. To season it up, I'm gonna go in with some salt. I'm gonna put about ½ teaspoon of salt. Okay, followed by some ground cumin, putting about, I'd say about ½ teaspoon of ground cumin in there. Then we're going with our garam masala, putting about ½ teaspoon to ½ teaspoon garam masala in there. Then I'm going in with my thyme. I'm putting about ½ teaspoon of thyme in there. Okay, and last but not least, my seasoning cube. Okay, and then all I'm gonna do now is to just mix that up together. And then what you wanna do after you've mixed it up is to just set it to one side while we get started with making our dough balls. All right, there we have it, our nice dough. Okay, it's been resting for about, I'd say about ½ an hour, because our peas cooked and then we grind it up, so about 35 to 40 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, the oil prevented it from sticking. Okay, so it's nice and soft, and this is what you really want, because it will make rolling and stretching it out very easy. Okay, so make sure you have a nicely floured surface. Then I'm gonna just place that in here like so. Okay, and just knead it in one last time. Okay, and then we're gonna section this off. Okay, I don't like making them too big. Okay, so just section it off as best as you can. All right, so I will be pinching and fixing as I go along, let's get started in making some dough balls. Okay, so all you want to do is just to open it up just a little bit and start pinching it in together. Okay, now I would normally make this a little bit bigger, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm not making them as big today. Okay, so as you can see, pretty standard sized. All right, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same with the rest. Okay, and as soon as I'm finished, I'm gonna come back and show you. There you have it, guys. Our 12 dough balls are done. Okay, so time to go ahead and open it up and fill it up so you guys can see how I do that. So what you want to do is just to stretch this as wide as you can. Okay, so I'm just pinching from the edges. Okay, open it as wide as you can, and then we're just gonna have it like so. Then this is our filling over here, filling, and we just want to fill it up. Okay, now you don't want to put too much that it may burst, but I like to put at least a spoon and a half in there. Now normally what I do, I normally make the flour, like the dough balls, a bit bigger, that way it can hold more peas, but as I mentioned earlier, just for demonstration purposes, I'm only going in with small dough balls today. And all you want to do after you put the peas in is just to seal it as best as you can. Okay, just seal it. Okay, and then just take the floured surface and technically just roll it onto here. Okay, and that will just make sure the bottom is nicely sealed. So you see, from this to this. Okay, so let me show you guys how I do another one. All right, just open it as wide as you can. All right, and then take a heaping teaspoon, well, tablespoon, and a bit. Okay, and then just use your fingers and just press it down. Okay, press it down in there and just start pinching from the sides. Okay, just pinch it in and squeeze it together like so. Okay, and as you're pinching it in, just kind of like turn it around. Okay, and this is it. Then you want to roll it onto the surface. Okay, and these are the two that I've done. All right, and if you compare that to here, you can see the difference. All right, so what I'm gonna do is to just go ahead and keep filling the rest. Then I'm gonna show you guys how I roll it out in order to fry them. Okay, and there you have it, guys. Our dough balls have been nicely filled. Okay, nicely filled. And it's gonna be time to roll this up. Okay, I've got my plain flour that I'll be using. Okay, and let me show you guys how I open this up. Now bear in mind it has a filling inside, so you need to be a bit more careful when you're opening it out. Okay, so all I like to do is to kind of like press it from the middle out to the center and just open it out. Okay, you don't want to try to open it out too much because it might burst. Okay, so I like to open out a few before I start rolling them. Okay, and it's a really nice feeling because it's got stuff in there, so it's really nice. Okay, so just open it up and be a bit gentle. And if at any points one of them were to burst, all you do is to just basically put it into the flour, and because you really can't prevent it from bursting, you really can't. Sometimes it's just too full and then it bursts. Okay, so with my rolling pin, okay, I'm gonna be going ahead and opening this out. Okay, now you want to open this as wide as possible, not too thin but not too thick, and just ensure that there is always some flour on the surface so that it doesn't stick. Okay, so flip it over and just keep on opening that up. Okay, now the rolling pin with the handle that you can actually just roll is so much better than this one, but I haven't gotten one as yet, but I think that's my next investment. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't come out in a perfect circle, okay? Because I'm not a professional like that yet. Okay, just try to get it as round as you can. And this is how it's looking, guys. Normally, if you've got a really wide, if you've got a really big dough, like if your dough is probably twice the size of this, you would literally get one as wide as this, all right? But that's not what I'm going for. Looking pretty good. Just want to try and get it as round as I can. Okay. Now the professionals like my granny, man, they can get this round with their eyes closed. Okay, but I'm aspiring to get to that level. And that's done, guys. So what you're gonna do, that just gets the excess flour off of it. Okay. Look at me pretending to be a pro. Okay, and now let's go ahead and fry this up. We've got two of them here. We've got this one and we've got this one that we did earlier. All right, so let's go fry this up. This is the pot that I'm going to be using. You can use a tower if you have one, but I'm using my frying pan because this is not something that I make often, so I just think it would be a waste if I had a tower that I would use basically every now and then. Okay, so you can use your frying pan because I'm aware that not everybody has access to a tower. And I'm just oiling it with some of that vegetable oil that I had earlier on. Take the roti and place it into your pot like so. Okay, and we're gonna allow that to fry for about a minute on either side. As soon as it starts to fry up, it's gonna start bubbling. I'll show you guys anyway how it looks. Okay, as you can see, and ensure that your fire is not too high because you really do not want it to burn. As it's frying down, what you want to do is to take your oil and your brush and to just basically lightly butter the surface. Okay, oil the surface. Oops, be a bit more gentle because you don't want to burst it up. Okay, so just butter the surface. Okay, and as soon as you finish oiling up the surface, you can just go on and flip it over. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to rise nicely, and just flip it over. Okay, and then you want to do the same thing on that side. See all the flour patches? Just to get rid of these flour patches that we got. Okay, so now that the surface is, you know, nicely oiled, as you can see, it's risen so well. I'm gonna go ahead and just flip it over one more time and then flip it back. Okay, and this should be ready to come out. Alright, so as you can see, it's starting to get these little brown marks, which signifies that it is ready. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to just go ahead and just flip it like so in half and then flip it across again. Okay, and then I'm just gonna place it on here like so. Do you see this? Perfecto! I'm really excited now. Just surface one more time while we go in with our second dal. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, and as it starts to cook underneath, it's gonna start bubbling up on the sides, as you can see. Okay, it's gonna start bubbling up. All right, and as soon as there's maybe about a handful of bubbles, all I like to do is just to go ahead and oil up the surface. Listen, this recipe is very easy to follow, guys. You know all my recipes. I try to keep it as straightforward as possible. Just gonna go ahead, you know, and just oil up our surface. Okay, just oil it up. Okay, and it's starting to rise up really well. Okay, there you have it. You can always just check underneath to see if it's ready. Alright, you don't have to flip it straight away. See this? It's looking really nice. Okay, let me just oil up the surface. Okay, or where you can see the flour, just oil it up. Look at how nice it is. Fold it in half, and then I'm gonna fold it again. Take it nicely and just place it on here like so. Gorgeous. And then flip it up. Whenever I flip this, it literally makes me feel like a master chef. Okay, maybe I'm speaking it into existence, but this makes me feel like a master chef every time I flip it. And look at how nice it's risen. I just love when it gets like this. Look at that. Look at this. Oh man, I'm a big kid. Look at this. Oh, that's to show you how nice and soft it is. Okay. And there you have it, guys. My delicious dal puri is ready. As you can see, they look amazing. Okay. I'm gonna break into one so you can see in a little bit, but these are so nice and soft and hot. Oh gosh, have this with a nice cup of hot chocolate or some cocoa tea like I will be having, and listen, you will not regret it. Okay, so to everyone who's been asking me for this recipe, I really hope you enjoy it, and if you did, don't forget to thumbs up, don't forget to comment, and you can subscribe please, okay? And I will definitely be seeing you in my next one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye. So just to give you a bit of a better view, guys, okay, our delicious dal puri, and as promised, I'm gonna break into one.